and independent future for our country stronger than ever.
How did you like our rally yesterday?
It was nice. Big crowd.
Very big crowd. How many people do you think were there?
3,000 to 4,000.
It's pretty big. When was the last time you had that in Kingston?
It's been a while.
I mean, these aggregators were massively wrong in the Ontario election just recently. They literally predicted the party would lose status, and they formed official opposition. So I'm not worried about what aggregators say.
Welcome back to Power Play and our coverage of this federal election campaign as week 2 comes to a close. We wanted to check in, as we have been each week, with Nick Nanos, the chief data scientist and founder of Nanos Research, the man with a map. Nick, good to see you, as always. This is the time of the week where we look at not just where they're polling with popular opinion, but how that translates into seats, because ultimately that's going to determine who wins the election. Where do things stand countrywide at the moment?
Well, you know what, Vashi, you can see here in the seat projections as of March 30th that the Liberals are back in the driver's seat at 173 ridings compared to the Conservatives with 106. As context, Vashi, remember at the end of December, the Conservatives are at 220 seats. So it speaks to the seat change that's happening. That said, still over 56 seats that are too close to call.
Let's drill into some of the regions now that have been previously very competitive. Let's start in and around Montreal. What do you see happening there?
Well, this is the latest projections. What we got to really realize here, Vashi, is a number of things. First of all, a lot of these ridings that are in play, like in the South Shore and so forth, that the Liberals are poised to pick up right now if an election were held today, were previously held by the Bloc. Bloc doing really well. And, you know, the other thing is you know, look at the riding in the island of Montreal. Island of Montreal, at least right now in the seat projections, all red except for that one new Democrat riding that right now is in play, being challenged by the Liberals. Maybe the most interesting thing is Beloit-Chambly, this right over there. That is Blanchette's riding. We have him ahead, but too close to call, being challenged by the Liberals.
Which shows you just what's happening overall with the Bloc and the Liberals in Quebec, really.
Yeah, well,
right?
think of it this way, Vash. You know, the Bloc are usually in the 30s. Now they're in the 20s. So big surprise. He's going to have to look over his shoulder and make sure that his riding is still safe.
That's so interesting. Okay, let's move to Ontario, and more specifically the Greater Toronto Area, which is ultimately one of the more competitive parts of the country. What are we seeing projected right now?
Well, you know, we're back to Fortress Liberal in the city of Toronto, where, you know, you can see they're back to picking up everything with the exception of, you know, out in the burbs. But, you know, the reality is the Conservatives, ridings like St. Paul's, which was like the canary in the coal mine and so forth, you can see that the Conservatives were poised to make gains in the city of Toronto and especially in the burbs, you know, the Mississauga, Bramptons, the Etobicoke Lakeshores. Now, at least in the latest tracking, it's not election day. There's still lots of time for things to change.
3 weeks, context,
but at least as of the tracking and the seat projections for March 30th, Liberals basically in the driver's seat right now in Toronto and the Greater Toronto area.
And as we move far, far west,